Hi, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is going to be your general reading for April 2023. I have with me the Radiant White deck. I have with me the Levitas Abila for clarification should we need. And this month we're going to be using the Psychic Oracle Tarot to wrap up the readings. You do not have to wait until I post a reading here to YouTube to purchase a reading. You can purchase a reading anytime. Simply go to the About Box section of my channel. There I have listed the reading packages, which is the number of minutes, number of questions, and the price. And then simply contact me at the email address there, hiddenlotustarot@gmail.com. Hey, Tara, I want to get the 1 hour, the 60-minute reading, and then we'll go from there. I do suggest that before you contact me, you add my email address to your contacts. For some reason, my emails always go to spam. And so this way, when you contact me, by putting my email address in your contacts, you ensure that you'll be getting responses from me. And, I won't have to wait 3 days or you're waiting 3 days thinking I haven't responded. I usually respond very, very quickly. Okay. I've already done some meditation and shuffling on the Taurus sign and glyph. For those of you who are new to my channel, I want to thank you and welcome you. For those of you who've been with me since the beginning, thank you so much for sticking around. And if you're new to my style of reading, I read energies, I don't read cards. There's a big difference, okay? So let me go ahead and turn the camera around slowly. Because as I was shuffling and meditating, you did have a card come out. Taurus, you had the Three of Swords come out. Now, swords are thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, ideas, and communications. And then let me adjust the blinds here. Got some great light today. Yesterday it was bad lighting. It was windy. It was overcast. Really kind of crazy weather. So that you can see that better. Now, I'm going to put one more rifle and shuffle on these cards. And then we're going to cut the deck and we're going to finish the 9-card spread. Okay, so here we go. All right, second card down, the Fool. Well, that's interesting, huh? The Knight of Cups. Wow. Next row, the Hanged Man, which is quite interesting because when I was shuffling, this card flew out of the deck. I stuck it back in. And there was another card that showed up. I don't know if it was meant to be here. It'll show up again and I'll let you know. But this one presented itself while I was shuffling. So there is the Hanged Man, and it obviously was meant to be in this reading. Well, now, the Knight of Pentacles. Next card, the Three of Pentacles. Last row, the Seven of Pentacles. A lot of pentacles here. So for some of you, this might be a financial issue. But more than likely, what I'm picking up already is that this is not really a financial issue. It is about what you are doing and the manner in which you are doing it. Okay. The Chariot card. And finally, last card down, the Nine of Wands. Indeed. Now, I have 1, 2, 3 major arcanas, a sword, 1, 2, 3 pentacle, a cup, and a wand. That's interesting. So this is really about the third dimensional, mundane. That's what the pip cards represent. The suited cards, cups, swords, pentacles, wands. These, the major arcana, are spiritual lessons. But the fact that I have 3 pentacles, it's more weighted towards the pentacles. This is definitely about the everyday, what you are doing, the manner in which you are doing it. How you're spending, how you're investing, how are you saving. How are you giving? How are you sharing? That kind of a thing, okay? What is over the entire reading? The moon. Well, we know that we just had a full moon in Pisces. Let me pull up my moon app because I don't remember. It was just a few days ago. I want to say it was on the 7th. That is correct. I'm sorry, it was a Virgo moon that we had. And then, see, our new moon will be a Pisces new moon on the 21st. So we had the Virgo full moon. So we know that this is a timing issue, at least an entire moon cycle, if not stating that this situation may have been triggered or brought about by the full moon that we just had. Excuse me. I'm trying to get over a cold. I have 2 3s. Okay. I have 2 7s. I also have 2 knights. 2s always represent a choice, an option, a duality, a crossroads. It is about decisions and choices. Okay. And right in the middle of the spread, I have the Knight of Pentacles. Now, legend has it for the Knight of Pentacles that usually when he arrives with good news. You are asked to provide him with refreshments and a place to rest once he arrives. All nights for me are events in that they represent news and messages, but they come to move a situation along. So that's the event. Okay. Now, the Knight of Cups, it is a cups. And the cups are emotions. So to me, this is a message that has an emotional quotient to it. And the Pentacles has a message of being able to move forward or do something, right? Maybe even finances. It doesn't read like a financial issue to me. But also the meaning of 2 knights is an indication of doubting the sincerity of the word of a male friend. Now I have 2 different, perhaps, male figures here. Okay. One would be a water sign. So we may be looking at a Cancer, a Scorpio, or a Pisces. And this particular individual, let me put it that way, typically is the kind of person who comes with all of these feelings, is able to make you feel all of these things, can be quite dreamy, quite romantic, but also kind of difficult to kind of pin down or get a hold of. In other words, he's the person that can promise you the moon and the stars, but never quite gives you something solid on which to hang your hat. Whereas the Knight of Pentacles comes, this individual has done the research, knows exactly what to do, maybe even knows exactly what to say, but is a more solid, maybe slow, can oftentimes even be a more boring type of individual rather than this dreamy, romantic type person, okay? What I find interesting is that they are both moving in the same direction. Past, present, future, interplay of the cards. Now, the row across the top, I get the sense that for some of you, there has been, if not some type of disappointment here with the 3 of Swords, at least some kind of frustration, maybe even bitterness. I feel that some of you feel as though you have been foolish. Okay? That you kind of feel as though maybe you got suckered in, you got taken in, things were promised, things were said, things were, you know, it was this dreamy quality to it. Okay? But that kind of left the picture. You have your back to this particular night. And what you are focused on now is the idea of maybe there's been some unsettling communications. Maybe you found something out. Maybe somebody said something that hurt your feelings. This is an attack on the feeling center. Maybe you are upset because you feel as though maybe you might have been taken advantage of. There's sometimes a sense of betrayal with this card. But the beautiful thing about the 3 of Swords is that it has a sense of vision. And the sense of vision in the card says that sometimes we have to experience or endure short-term pain in order to get long-term gain. So this is more of like a lesson here. I feel that for some of you here across the center row, there has been a time of, after this event, you had to really kind of stop and take stock. The Hanged Man, representing the planet Neptune and the sign of Pisces. This can be the idea of sacrifice, of martyrdom, of giving perhaps more than you should, not being able to see clearly into the depths of whatever it was that was happening, swimming in a sea of emotions and not quite sure if what is up or down, okay? But we see that the Hanged Man here has placed himself on this particular cross. He does so in order to suspend events so that he can gain a greater insight, the bigger picture into what is happening. I don't know, perhaps there's maybe some of you have been experiencing maybe headaches or vertigo, maybe back, knee, foot, hip injury, leg injuries. That comes across sometimes, okay? But we can see that finally, here with the Knight of Pentacles, we get some kind of news that may give us the information that we need so that now we can move along. And as we move along, we find ourselves with the Three of Pentacles, the card of teamwork. It is the card of cooperation. It speaks about recognition for the work that you've done thus far. Now, again, there's this indication of three. I have three figures here with the moon, the dog, the wolf, the crustacean. I have the three figures here, pardon me. And I have the three figures here. Okay? Now, the Three of Pentacles can speak about that there's more research that needs to be done. There's more you need to learn. There's perhaps more that you need to do. It speaks about the idea of more planning. So maybe this is you have to go seek some advice from someone so that you can reassess your plans or quote unquote go back to the drawing board. This is what I'm picking up here. And it leads to this Seven of Pentacles. Now, sevens, and you have two of them, and you have two threes, and I'll get to that in a moment. Sevens is a number of pause. It is a number of stopping for a moment, reassessing all that you've done before, and what do you want to do following this. It is a moment of questioning oneself, maybe a bit of self-doubt. Well, you know, I've been tending all of these things. I have all of these things here. So far, so good. But there's also an indication that something new is going to be put forward to you. And you're going to have to determine whether you're going to have the time, the energy, the resources to devote to this particular thing. Is it even something that you really want to deal with? Okay? We follow the Chariot. Now, the Chariot is a war vehicle, so there is movement in this particular spread. We see this momentary kind of, I'm not quite sure, and the reason why you're not quite sure is you can see the horse has stopped in mid-stride. It has not crossed that particular stream yet. And then this particular horse, the slow knight, is the slowest of the deck. His horse has come stock still, okay? So there, along with the Hanged Man, there's this implication that things just haven't really been moving. They're moving, but maybe they're not moving fast enough to your satisfaction. Or there's been some kind of, what I keep picking up is this dreamlike quality. Like you're just kind of floating and time has stood still and you're kind of waiting, but you don't maybe not even know what you're waiting for, right? So the Chariot comes along, again, to move this situation along. But what the Chariot indicates is that there's a need for you to balance your emotion. You need to balance the light and the dark, the good with the shadow side of yourself. And in doing so, you can take hold of the reins of whatever this thing is and drive it to wherever you want it to go. We know that it is a war vehicle, so therefore it is not a very, what do you call it? smooth ride, quick ride, luxurious ride. It's kind of bumpy, but ultimately, if you can handle that particular vehicle, that chariot, you can get to where you want to go. So this card is about maintaining faith through your journey. But then we see that you arrive finally. You do get to your destination. And I feel for some of you, it's not necessarily about the destination. It is the journey. For others of you, it is about the destination. You finally arrive at this particular place. Now, nines are also a focus on completion, right? Again, it is about looking where you've been before and then how do you want to move to the next. So the next one is the 10 of Wands, okay? So the 9 says that, again, stop to reassess where, what you've been doing, how you've been doing it. Wands represent your focus, your passion, your determination. But the 9 of Wands indicates that there's been some kind of battle, whether you have been battling yourself or you've had to battle other people or, within a particular situation. It says that you have the strength and the courage and the character to continue to get out there and fight. It can sometimes be an indication that you might even have the advantage at this particular time. But yet you are bruised, you are battered, you are beat up, and you need to stop for a moment and take a rest. Okay? Now, 2 3s. Remember, I told you you had 2 3s. 2 3s. One of you is craving more excitement and change. That is one of the meanings of the 2 3s. 2 7s can be an indication that self-confidence issues affect, cause instability in the relationship. Okay, I gave you the 2 Knights, which is an indication of doubting the word or the sincerity of a male friend. Let me give you the other meaning of the 2 3s because I can't come up with them at the moment. Hold on. The other meaning of 2 3s can tell of a small but pleasant surprise. And that could be what this is, that news that you need to move forward. Okay. But the other meaning of 2 7s is a warning of false friends. And that to me comes across doubting the word or the sincerity. There's a lot of water here. This is Cancer. This is Neptune and Pisces. Here we have the moon itself, which rules both Cancer and Pisces. It actually rules Cancer, but it's got that Piscean kind of quality. Because what the moon is an indication of is psychological fears. Things coming up from the depths, from the surface, things that frighten us psychologically. We don't know what triggers us, what brings about this particular fear, but there's something about it. It's an indication of not being able to see too clearly. We can see more clearly by the light of the sun than we can the moon. The moon can cast shadows and make things look scarier or bigger or larger, right? It is about having to travel this particular path even though you can't see clearly where you're going. But in order to do that, you have to, again, this idea of balance out the domestic side of yourself with the wild side of yourself. Okay? Now, I can't see what these 2 cards mean, right? Because traditionally they represent people. So what does that leave me? 3 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, as they relate to the Fool, the Hangman, the Chariot, and even there may be some influence here with the Moon card. So this could travel all the way out. It's not the 8 of Cups, which would indicate an eclipsed moon. And again, as I said, we have a solar eclipse on the 20th of April. So let me go back to my moon, to my moon app, April on the 20th. Okay, and that would be a waxing crescent Taurus moon, no doubt, Taurus. So in the month of April, we have our Libra full moon on the 15th. I'm sorry, on the 5th. And then we have the day before the eclipse, we have the Aries new moon on April 19th. Okay? So That gives us our timing. So from the last full moon here in March on the 7th, all the way out to the full moon in April in Libra. Okay? So it's a complete moon cycle. I need to go now to look and see quickly what information I can pick up from these cards, if as they relate to some of these, I can't talk, major arcanas. Nothing about the Three of Swords. Let's move to the Three of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles. Nothing about the Three of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles. Nothing about the Seven of Pentacles. And finally, the Nine of Wands. This card is asking you to be patient. It's going to be a slow journey. I'm sorry, the Nine of Wands. That just came to me. So 1 second. The Nine of Wands. Nothing about the Nine of Wands. Okay, that's quite interesting. So, the Fool card. I think the Fool card is urging for some of you to, yes, step out on faith. This could be about a new journey. Literally a new journey. You know, it would be different if it was here or here. It's kind of in the middle. Okay. But we see, and it's a line of yellow, talking about mental clarity, talking about some kind of positivity, light that we can see. So if I had to pick a card, I'm going to pick this Three of Pentacles. That may seem contrary, but there's something about the Three of Pentacles, even though it's speaking about cooperation and plans, and it's a dark card. In fact, it's the darkest card in the spread itself. So let's take a look at this Three of Pentacles here, because there's definitely something on offer here. We see it. And for some of you, it ends up being maybe a battle of wills, a test of wills, courage. It's logical to me. The stanza, the room. This card is an indication of a meeting or two people who know each other extremely well and may know secrets about each other. The card can sometimes say, if there's a meeting or news that you are waiting on, this card heralds its imminent arrival. We see the news coming. The Vecchia Signora. Now, normally she would be someone who's related to us, like a grandmother, an elderly aunt, perhaps even a godmother, someone like that, an old lady. Tends to be somewhat wealthy. But the card can also be an indication of doing things the same way from a traditional standpoint. Things needing to stay the way that they are. Why? Because they've worked well that way. But then we have the Ammalato. Now, I cannot rule out the fact there may be cardiorespiratory. I don't do health readings, but this is coming across a cardiorespiratory issue. Again, vertigo, maybe some kind of unexplained back, hip, leg injury. Because what do we have? We have here the Ammalato. So this could literally be you having to go meet an elderly relative who may be ill, being in the hospital. This card can be an indication of just that. Going to places we would rather not go. So this could be an implication of hospitals and prisons and asylums. But it can also simply be just generally the idea of people and situations who are making you ill. Okay? Now, why the Vecchia Signora has come out, I do not know. So I'm going to take a look to see if I can pull up a general information on her when she does not represent an old person or someone in your family. Hold on one second. The card can represent someone who has accepted a situation and has learned to cope with it well. It does suggest resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. But it can also represent the end of a phase, a waning of some kind, situations that are about to terminate and or decline, or something or someone that it's losing its hold over you. Okay? And to me, this is what it is speaking about. It is not really talking about the idea of someone who is old and that you have to go visit. It is saying that this situation is about to end. It's waning, and it's really been a drain. It's been taxing on you. This card can sometimes show up when people are taxing you physically. You're having to support them in some way, and it's been a taxing situation on you. And perhaps the teamwork card comes out to indicate that you're going to get an opportunity to discuss this, to talk about it. Or maybe some news is going to come that's going to give you an indication that this is almost over, and while you are waiting, you need to take care of your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Okay? I would suggest, particularly here with this last row and this card, that you consider what you're going to do, because you're going to be offered something. Whatever the thing is that's going to be offered to you, it won't be easy, but it is ultimately, I think, going to be, quote unquote, the way out. Okay? Formulate a question for the Psychic Oracle Tarot. Oh, well, it fell out all on its own. It is the Four of Wands, foundation and achievements. So, let's see what this is all about. The Four of Wands, let me see here. I can never remember. That's the Cups. That's the Pentacles. Let me see if I can find it. What is the Four? Hold on, just let me figure out what I'm doing. Here we go. The violet border. Yes. This card confirms that what you've been building is now firmly established with a strong and solid foundation. You deserve this, and it is time for you to harvest the rewards for your efforts. This card is known as waiting for the harvest. Okay? What you sowed, you now can reap. Be open to receive, as you've worked hard and have given so much. Allow the universe to give a little back to you, for there has to be an even exchange of giving and receiving in order to prime the pump of gratitude and reinforce the law of attraction. Under a more traditional meaning of this card, it represents a period for celebration, peace, and prosperity. It may also imply a marriage or the buying of land or a new home. As you enjoy this time of relaxation that you so deserve, know that nothing remains stagnant, and the winds of change are always at your door. Now, I don't necessarily see, a marriage here, but this could be, it's definitely, I feel, a contractual issue coming to the fore, and one that has been full of twists and turns and maybe disappointments and maybe even a bit of subterfuge and confusion. Maybe even some hallucinations about how it's all going to end, but it does speak to dreams and illusions as well. And so I do feel that there is light at the end of the tunnel. So hang in there. So until next time, Taurus, be well. Bye.